Well, the fight has finally been made. It has been reported that Shakur Stevenson is going to take on William Zepeda July 12th in New York City. A fight that, hey, after Zepeda's last fight just a couple weeks ago, I said, this is the only fight to make. This is the only fight for Shakur, and this is the only fight for Zepeda at the moment. And for a second last week, it kind of looked like this fight might be in limbo. Shakur was saying Turkey wasn't wanting to do a deal. Oscar De La Hoya was saying that Shakur was ducking, all these things. Well, came out yesterday that this fight is happening in New York City. This is the fight for both fighters. I've talked about it again. This is the fight for both fighters. For Shakur, this is a great contender and challenge for him for the level he wants to get. I think this will elevate him, and I think it might get rid of the boring label that's been plaguing him for the past year. And for Zepeda, what more can you ask than a fight against a champion? You want a chance to win a belt? There you go. You got Shakur Stevenson right there at 135, one of the best, not only at the division, in the sport. Really, it was the only fight for either fighter, and I'm glad they were able to come to negotiations and finally figure it out. Is this fight, I feel like we've talked about this fight for a while now. This was the fight. I'm glad it happened. We'll talk about how it happened because, again, it looked like it was kind of shaky for a second. But first, make sure you like this video, comment, and subscribe to the Never Drop podcast. Shakur Stevenson last week, he responded to Oscar De La Hoya. De La Hoya put out a tweet saying, oh, after all the crap Shakur Stevenson talked, he wants to pull out now or something to that degree. And Shakur said, no, I didn't pull out. Turkey offered me money originally, and he's not promising that same money now. And then he said, oh, Turkey's not even really responding to me. I'm having to talk to his people. Obviously, he said a different term that people have debated whether derogatory or not, whatever. He was saying he was talking to middlemen, not Turkey. So it looked like, whoa, what's going on? But Shakur, props to him. He threw out it. He was like, no, Zepeda's next. He's like, I don't care if we have to do it with or without Turkey. Zepeda is next. He's like, we can go to a purse bid, the WBC, anybody can set it up. We'll get this happening. I'm with Matchroom with Eddie. Oscar set it up. We don't have to have Turkey involved. So it's like, okay, Shakur's pushing for this fight. And to be fair, I've always thought Shakur's been the one pushing for this fight. I always thought it was William Zepeda for the few times it looked like he was on, and then it was off. I kind of thought that was Zepeda's fault. Uh, Different scenarios. It wasn't necessarily a duck, but different scenarios like, hey, my wife is giving birth. I'm not fighting again this year, but then you come back and you fight that same year. So there's different scenarios. I've never questioned whether or not Shakur wants this fight. I think Shakur does want this fight, and obviously he gets it. It was funny, he put out a tweet just, I believe, a day or two ago. It's basically saying, hey, Turkey, it was a misunderstanding. It kind of read like a PR tweet, like, hey, if we're going to do this, you got to put this out and clean everything up. Basically, oh, we didn't see eye to eye, or we weren't on the same page, but we are now making the best fights. It really read like, hey, Shakur, you got sent this, now post the tweet. Hey, to make business, sometimes you got to do that. So it looks like Shakur did that. At the end of the day, this fight is made. The fight's made. It was announced July 12th again in New York City. I'm interested to see the venue. Obviously, it's not going to be Times Square like we're going to see May 2nd. But where? Barclays? Madison Square Garden? Where are they going to have this fight? Again, if you do it in Barclays, that's you want to talk about ticket sales. You're going to be directly linked to Gervonta Tank Davis. And again, this is business. When it comes to fighting, get in the ring. But business side, that's a huge part of this boxing game. If you fight in Barclays, that's where Tank had his fight against Lamont Roach. You are going to be right there. Even if it's not in Barclays, if it's in MSG, it's going to be like, hey, Tank was just around here a couple months ago, and this is what he did. So I'm just going to make that be known. Those comparisons will happen when this fight happens in ticket sales, and we shouldn't care about it, but unfortunately in boxing we do, and that's going to be a main thing. This fight overall, I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of this fight. If you listen and watch my video about how I believe this is the only fight that should happen next for both guys, no doubt about it. I think this was the only fight for both guys. Zepeda, challenge. You need a challenge finally. You're going up. You're facing a champion at 35. It was time. It seemed like he had been getting ready for Shakur Stevenson for a while now. He'd been facing southpaw after southpaw. It looked like Oscar and Golden Boy were getting him ready for this fight. And then it was just a matter of time as this fight was going to happen. For Shakur, I think this can help eliminate you from that boring conversation because Zepeda's going to throw punches. If that's anything he's going to do, he's going to throw punches in this fight. And Shakur, one thing he does, great defense. Offense is there's still more to be worked on. And when I say worked on, more output. For Shakur, he's always going to be, hey, yeah, he just brings no action to the fight. That's been the casual take on Shakur for a few years now. And even as a boxing fan, yeah, I mean, you look at his 135 counterparts, Zepeda, who throws a million punches a fight, Tank Davis seemingly always gets a knockout. Keyshawn Davis now, who's also knocking people out and putting on exciting fights. Hey, Shakur, we know you're great and talented like this. Let's see you in a slugfest. Let's see you sit down. We want to see you engage. We don't want to just see counters and then you move around on defense. Let's see you get into a firefight. And I think Zepeda brings that element. Again, styles make fights. I think for Shakur, not only will he have to dig into his offensive bag, his defensive bag as well, because Zepeda is going to throw so many punches at Shakur. Shakur is going to have to get into his defensive bag to avoid all those punches. Again, it's boxing. You're going to get hit at some points, but you got to limit the damage. Dude's throwing 1,000 punches at you in a fight. Okay, if you make him miss a lot more than he hits, again, it just goes to prove your defense. But say you get hit, maybe people are thinking, oh, in the ring, people just got to throw with Shakur. I think his defense is going to show out in this fight. I think it has to against Zepeda, especially if offensively, if he's not going to throw to the level that some people want to see him throw, right? He's going to have to be on point defensively. Again, I personally, I think Shakur wins this fight relatively easy on the scorecards. When I say easy, I'm thinking 9-3. 8-4, and the 8-4 is kind of being generous. I think 9-3 is really where I'm standing at Shakur winning this fight, because I think, yes, Zepeda will have his moments where he'll rip combinations and be like, oh, geez, Shakur got hit with something. I think Shakur can weather the storm, and him being great, that's what he's got to do. Either way, I'm excited this fight's happening because I think it's best for both fighters at this point in their career. Again, quickly for Zepeda, he's facing a champion. Let's go. Let's see what Zepeda has. He's always been talked about as he's not on that champion level like a Tank or a Shakur, but he's right under there at 135. Well, now you're fighting someone at that top level. Let's see if you rise to the occasion. For Shakur, this is a fight against a dude who has a very active style. He's going to throw and throw and throw at you. Let's see your defense. And, hey, this has been the roadmap. It was going to be Kid Austin, Zepeda, Tank. For Shakur, hey, Zepeda's on the list right now. Kid Austin, that happened. Zepeda's right now. You get past Zepeda, okay. At 35, it's either going to be Tank or Keyshawn. And we know he's not fighting Keyshawn. So for Shakur, this is the roadmap to getting that Tank fight. And if you deliver a very, very good performance, there's going to be a lot of people switching from saying, oh, Tank was winning this fight to Shakur is winning this fight. Again, it's what have you done for us last in boxing? And Tank, he's going to have his rematch with Lamont Roach, and maybe he doesn't even get through Lamont Roach. For Shakur, the roadmap is panning out perfectly. Now he's got Zepeda on his target, July 12th. I'm excited for this fight. Let me know in the comments below if you're excited for this fight. Make sure you like the video, comment, and subscribe to the Never Drop podcast. I got all your boxing news. Shakur versus Zepeda, July 12th, New York City. We will see. That's all I got for you. Peace. I'm out.